Jai Guruji. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, Seema Aunty. It has been a long time since I've been here. Someone actually, Rosie Aunty, mentioned that in the washroom a little while ago. I want to start by thanking Guruji. I'm going to speak in English because I think there are a few people that would benefit from that. I made some notes. I promise I won't be too long, but what I have to say builds very, very nicely on what Seema Aunty just read. In fact, that is really my ending line, which is drive my fear away. So it's very interesting that she brought that up. This is the last line here. It says, now drive fear away. That's my last line. So, Jai Guruji, I think I've talked about my journey on how I got connected a little, sometime back, but Seema Aunty asked that I repeat that. So I met Guruji in about April of 2018. Now Guruji has been long gone, we all know that. I am originally from New Delhi and I came to this country about 22 years ago, right? When I came as a student, as a graduate student. I ended up finishing my education. I came for a master's. I ended up doing another master's. I did an MBA. I ended up settling here, working here. I had never crossed paths with Guruji in the physical form in the time that I was in New Delhi. But in April 2018, I met Guruji. I really did. I used to live in Bridgewater, New Jersey, which is not very far from here, and a neighbor of mine, I don't see her here today, she came into my house, and I was in a particularly low phase in my life. We were going through some different sorts of struggles, and I, in the physical form, was crying. I was in the home alone and I was crying, and she's somebody that lives across my house, has never actually, she's come into the house, she's an Indian, and actually she's a Bhati, I just don't see her here today, Nandini Aunty, I really owe her a lot. Anyway, she came in, and typically we don't spend time in each other's houses that much, because she has young kids, I have a daughter, we're constantly running as we all are doing our errands. Anyway, she came into the house and she sat down. At first I was a little surprised that she sat down because, it's about 4:35, which is a really busy time for those of us that have kids. This wonderful place that is so peaceful and has solved her problems. So it didn't happen that Thursday for whatever reason, although she told me she was coming. It didn't happen the following Sunday, although she told me she was coming. But the Thursday after that, I somehow got myself into her car and I said, I actually forget, maybe I followed her or I came in her car. Anyway, I came here. And it has now been about a year, and I have never turned back, right? When I close my eyes and I think of that evening, because it has been so strange, I'm not, whatever my age is, X, I have never felt the kind of peace I've felt since the time I've been here. And when I close my eyes, I no longer see Nandini coming into my house. I literally see Guruji, who I had never ever met in the life form. I see him come with a very long orange color kurta, silk kurta, and red juttis like this, red, and he has held his, he's not wearing a dhoti, he's wearing, you know, like a wrap, like a dhoti wrap, so it's not like a full dhoti, and he has picked it up, and he has walked into my house, lifted my hand, pulled me up, and brought me here. That is all I see. I no longer see Nandini. So that is the way I met Guruji in April of 2018. In December, I made a plan to go to India. So this is about 4 months ago, I think it's April, 4 months ago. And I was going to make some decisions in my life. And I was going to India to sort of, you know, implement some decisions. So I went to Guruji's temple in Edison because I was picking up, you know, blouses, and I was also going for a shadi. So you have to, as women and men, we have to bunch everything together. But anyway, so I went to Edison for some errands, and on the way back, I stopped at Guruji's temple in Edison, and I went in, and it was completely quiet. There was no one there. And I said to Guruji, I said, Guruji, I'm going to India for this decision, for something. If it is not good for me, do not give it to me. I really wanted it. I wanted it from the bottom of my heart. If it is not good for me, Guruji, do not give it to me. Guruji didn't give it to me. I did not have what I wanted to go in India for. But what he gave me again in India were his darshan. And I know that this is being recorded, I have to acknowledge and thank Moromi Aunty from the bottom of my heart, and Seema Aunty, because she connected me to Moromi Aunty. Moromi Aunty was amazing in how she took care of me when I was in a very vulnerable situation when I went to India. She kept me in her house, in her home, her beautiful home that has Guruji on every wall, and there is incense that, you know, speaks to Guruji on every corner of her house. She took me to see Guruji. And I'm not joking, if you ever have the chance to meet Moromi Aunty or go to the Chhatarpur temple with Moromi Aunty, it was like a VIP experience. And she caught hold of my hand, again Guruji, she caught hold of my hand. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. You say, I don't want more, thank you. You don't want to waste. But in Chhatarpur, the niyam is a little bit different, which I realized. When I was done with eating and sharing with the 4 people that were around me, you know, the people that serve came by again and put something on the plate. And I said, oh, I'm done, I'm sorry, I'm done, I don't need any more. And around me, including Moromi Aunty, they were aghast at what I was saying, because apparently in Chhatarpur, not everybody gets a chance to get a refill, because there are so many people that not everybody comes and, you know, so if someone stops near where you are, it is supposed to be Guruji's blessing. And I tell you, I was already full till here. I ate every single piece that was put there again because I didn't want to waste it. So it was a very divine experience, and I'm very grateful to Moromi Aunty for giving me that. I want to bring you all to sort of current day, because there are small little events that have happened that have reinforced my faith in Guruji. but I don't want to go there. I want to take you to a big event that has tested my faith, shaken me to my core, and brought me here today. So, on March 21st, which is just about a month ago, my daughter, who's a university student at Tufts University in Boston, came home for spring break with two of her friends, two friends that she went to school with. In the meantime, I'm also recently single, so I'm setting up my own place, and so when she came with her friends, I wanted to make sure that everything was taken care of for her, like, there was nothing fell short. So she came on Sunday, and Monday, Tuesday went, and there were some events that they did, I don't want to go into that. On Thursday, she decided to go with her friends to Princeton to have dinner, and they're older kids now, they're 20 years, but some friend came and picked them up and they all went to Princeton, and I work in South Jersey. I've recently moved to South Jersey. And she called me at 3 o'clock and she said, Mama, we have a surprise. We are going to cook dinner for you. So why don't you come here in Princeton and have dinner with us, and then you can take me back. So when your 20-year-old says she's cooking dinner, you get majorly excited, right? Because when does that happen? So I said, okay, I'll be there. What time do you want me to be there? So she said, I think she said 7. So I left work at 6. It took me about 45 minutes. It was raining. It was a little bit slippery, so I left a little early. I got to this friend's place, and there was no day of dinner. They had just finished shopping at Wegmans, so there was no dinner on the table. And everybody was waiting around for dinner to drop from the ceiling. Meanwhile, the mother of the house, who I had not met, this was a fourth friend whose house they had gone to, so I had not met anybody, had gone to pick up pizza. So you can imagine that the dinner had quickly become from, we are going to cook dinner for the moms, to pizza dinner. Anyway, we all had pizza dinner with great fanfare and excitement. And because we had gotten late starting dinner, if I had had dinner at 7, maybe this incident would have been a different story. Anyway. An F-180, I don't know if you're familiar, it's like a full-size pickup truck Ford. He's at 60 miles per hour, he jumps his lane, so he's in the wrong lane, and hits me head on. The one thing that I have to tell you before I get there, I have Guruji in my Mandir at home, and every morning, the least I do is the mantra that we just did. I'll pray, but if I don't have time, it is 5 minutes, 40 seconds. I know because I sometimes only have that much time, and I do that. That morning, because the kids were in the house, I didn't. But on the way to Princeton, I put that in my car, and I did that twice. So I had done that twice. I had Guruji, the locket is actually since fallen off. I had done that in the morning. So when I got hit, I told myself, Guruji, you can't do this to me because I did your Jaap in the morning. I said that, but the impact was so severe and so brutal. And when I saw him coming, I knew that if I didn't do anything, we would be dead. And we would all be in a body bag, because I could see, you know, in India there is, or maybe even here, when there's a hit on you and someone says, you know, clean this person out or clean this family out, whoever they hire comes at you with such a force that you cannot live. To this day, I believe that someone had a hit on me. I'm seriously, it was so severe, so hard. And it was only, today's 21st, so about a month today, this is when it happened last month. It was so severe that it could not be classified as an accident. And I have tons of pictures to show you. So if you're interested, I don't want to gross you all out, but you can take a look. It was so severe that you can't call it an accident. It was just that severe. But somehow, and I don't know what it is, I think it's a parent's instinct or Guruji, I don't know what. Just before impact, I had managed to turn my car 15 degrees to the right. 15 degrees is all I got. So what that 15 degree did is it totally spared my daughter, because he couldn't be head on. It totally spared the two kids at the back, but it totally got me. So it totally came and ramrodded that big pickup truck, came into my side of the car. Our airbags opened. I didn't even know we had feedbacks. We had feedbacks that opened. Side bags didn't open. And the entire car started flaming. And so my entire hands, 2 hands got burnt because I was still holding the wheel and the airbag opened. And so I told my kids, I said, get out, get out, get out, because the car was fuming, you know, with hot air. So the kids stumbled out. This is now 10:30 in the night. The kids stumbled out. I couldn't get out because he had hit my side of the car, and so I can't open the door. So this gentleman that hit me didn't stop at hitting me. He was coming at such great speed that he hit me, my side, and ricocheted off and went around me and almost nicked the car behind me and went and hit the pavement on the side. And he hit a lamppost and his car got damaged, the guy that hit me. The gentleman that he almost nicked got off the car. One of those moments where, you know, you're just amazed at how you're alive after a crash like that. It was just that crazy. And the fact that I wasn't in a body bag, it was just amazing to me that how that happened. And when I think about it, I mean, I had very little time to think about it back then. They took me to the hospital. I had a neck brace. My hands were in a hand. They put me in a hand cast. Put oxygen because I was hyperventilating. My 3 kids were left standing there because the ambulance didn't want to put them in the car and in the back and deal with them, and he just wanted to focus on me. And they cut my jacket, the jacket I was wearing, and they so that they did the things they needed to do. We got to the hospital. They started treating me. My 3 kids. I'm calling them my 3 kids because they really are my daughter and her friends, but my kids. They took an Uber and came over. And, as parents, we all worry and we all think about what would happen if something happened to your daughter or your child if you can put yourself in my shoes and think about what would happen if you had to make that call to somebody else's parents and say, This happened on my watch. It wasn't my fault. But here it is. Till today, it's 3 weeks later, I'm in a very, very dark place with this because I'm alive, as you can see. I had not as severe enough to keep me in the hospital. I had back injuries, I had hand injuries. I had just taken out my cast. My hand was really big, really heavy and big. But to have to make that call to somebody else's parents, I only have the one daughter. So of course, and I'm, like I said, I'm single. So to have to even call and tell her dad that this was happening on my watch. But to tell somebody else's parents that your kids who are here for spring break were involved in an accident and this is what happened to them it is the worst nightmare that anyone can ever experience. And I think at that time, my faith was really tested and I questioned Guruji endlessly and I said, it's not fair that you do this to me when I was following the rule.
You were saved from something bigger than what could have happened.
Yeah.
So you should be happy for that. Yeah.
You're standing.
So, I told myself and I told Guruji, and honestly for many days I couldn't go into my Mandir because I questioned Guruji and I said, how can you do this? I was minding my own business. I have these kids in the car with me. How could you do this to me? How could you, What would have happened if I died today and these kids... It was like a tin can, and the four of us really walked out alive. We were all alive. I'm standing here in front of you. My kids have gone back to college. My daughter had slight concussion, so we treated that. Or she took that as an excuse for not attending class. I don't know which one. But anyway, she's fine. We're all alive. Since the time, every time I've had like a question or I've felt like, how can I handle this, Guruji? Oh, so I was very upset with Guruji. I admit I was upset with him, and I said, this is so unfair, I take your name every day. How can you do this? I was minding my own business, driving along on one side, and there's no reason to send this guy barreling onto my side. And by the way, the case he got 3 tickets and 3 big summons. I didn't get anything. I think he got something short of manslaughter because I was also bleeding at that rate. But anyway, so the case he's going to court on Tuesday and I've been called as a witness, and so I had asked Seema Aunty if I could come primarily because I was fearful. I have been very fearful since the accident happened, and I feared that other shoe dropping. I'm like, aur kya likha hai? What else is waiting for me out there? So when Seema Aunty read her piece, it resonated with me, and it made such a direct connection because I wanted to end on, Guruji, please please remove my fear. Please take away my fear. I am going into court on Tuesday because I'm the witness. And this is the first time I'm going to see the gentleman after the accident. I remember his face because, in the dark of night, you see the demon that comes for you. But I was going to tell you about my story only because I wanted to reinforce my own faith, because my faith has shaken, and to thank Guruji for keeping me and my children alive, and to be grateful for everything I have. It has been a struggle for me to see the positive side, but I know that there is a positive side, and I know Guruji is sending angels, whether it's someone that's notarizing my papers, that happened just amazingly, to Guruji's ambassador that made me buy a car. I hope I'm not taking too much time, and please flag that for me and I'll stop. Okay, thank you. So, like I said, I hate cars and I hate buying cars, and so one day I'm sitting in my office and I'm, just really, sitting like that and wondering, where do I start? 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive and 6-cylinder, and who cares? Just give me a car and I'll drive whatever it is. Well, a colleague of mine was actually my senior. She happened to walk by my office and she saw me sitting like that and she said, what's going on? So I said, Sherry, I'm just in such a, the accident hasn't brought down my spirits as much as buying a new car. I'm just so upset that I have to do this thing all over again. So she said, well, you met the right person because I'm married to a dealership junkie. I'm like, what is that? She said, my husband spends weekends going into dealerships, checking out their donuts and popcorn and doing car talk. For the next weekend, which was last Saturday actually, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days, she loaned me her husband. We went from every dealership you can conceivably think of, Lexus, BMW, with no problem. You want to see Acura? Let's go to Acura NDX. You want to see, just amazing. No, this doesn't have this doesn't have this, and I'm just sitting back. He was also a master negotiator. So he sat with me and brought the price down to even less than what I paid for my last car. But what I'm saying is, Guruji ki daya se, not only did he look after me, but he sent his angels to help me. And so what I'm asking today is just to rid me from fear and, take us all as a sangat forward. Take us all as a sangat forward. Thank you very much and appreciate the time.
Can I say